First of all, we finished the Shuir last week. We spoke about matzahs. We spoke what matzahs can you use, what matzahs we can't use. We spoke about not what matzahs we could not eat 30 days before Pesach. Or what matzahs is kosher le Pesach, right? And we spoke about chito and the other matzahs that are not wheat, but oat, gluten-free. Now, lechatchila, we should take matzahs, as the Alter Rebbe mentioned, we should take matzahs that are wheat matzahs, chito matzahs. Now, b'di'evet, if someone is gluten mamish allergic and things like that, okay, they take gluten-free, but there's a problem with gluten-free. Why? Because gluten is machmitz, and if it's not machmitz, could be, nicht yoitze, you're not yoitze matzah. So this is one thing. Then what?
It has to have the potential for machmitz.
It has to have the potential to be machmitz, and it doesn't have because you took it away. Gluten makes chometz. You take away the gluten, it doesn't make chometz anymore. Okay, your battery is running low. Fine. So
okay, well, I'll get your.
Okay, whatever. Anyway, so and the same thing goes with the other oat and the other Sachen, which we have other problems with it. So they have other issues. So by Emerson, the best thing is to have regular matzah, if possible. Okay, this is one thing we spoke about it last week. Getting back to okay, this is matzah, shiurim of matzah, shiurim of wine. I don't even know what exactly we should discuss because you didn't. Moshe suggested child. Okay, let's start off with one thing like this. We clean for Pesach. The first thing is that we clean for Pesach, and we make a bittul, we make a mechira, we make a sreifa. We make a bdikas chometz. What's tut sich over here? What's going on over here? Why do I have to clean? Why do I have to clean bichlal? Why do I have to make a bittul? Why do I have to make a bdika? Why do I have to check the chometz? So there's reasons for each one, different reasons. And machlokes are showing him for if that's enough bittul or there would be enough. Cleaning, bdika's chometz is enough. So for all this thing, so we do both. There's going to be enough kimin and alocha, but before we go weiter, is bechlal, is we know that there is an avera to have chometz that we own on Pesach, bal yeroah or bal yemotzi. This bal yeroah or bal yemotzi, what is bal yeroah or bal yemotzi? Bal yeroah means you should not see chometz. Bal yemotzi means you should not own chometz. So if I don't own, so what do you mean I shouldn't see? And shouldn't see is also I shouldn't see only mine. But there are situations that I could have mine, but it's not mine. I can see, but it's not mine. Hefker, for example. There could be differences. The bottom line, we all know there's an avera called bal yeroah, bal yemotzi, min haTorah, to have chometz. That bal yeroah, bal yemotzi, Tosfos says, and Alter brings in Shulchan Aruch, it goes on every minute that we have chometz. It's not a one-time deal. It's not like noiser. One time you're going weiter, and that's it. Every minute that we own chometz is we're over an avera bal yeroah or bal yemotzi. So it's very, very harsh. How much chometz are we over bal yeroah, bal yemotzi? A kizayis. Or you're going to tell me we all know chatzi shir osur min haTorah, so maybe I'm not chayv malchus.
Isn't mashu? Isn't chometz mashu?
We all know. Everyone knows chometz mashu, right? Good. Chometz mashu. What was it? Chometz mashu. Not to own chometz mid'oraisa and to be over a bal yeroah, bal yemotzi is a kizayis. Now, so you're going to say mashu, chatzi kizayis, the same idea, less than a kizayis. There are achronim that hold that the take yochayev, but Alter Rebbe Aloche does not hold like that, and there's many explanations why. Chacham Tzvi brings a hesber that min haTorah to own chometz, it's only a kizayis. Chatzi shir you can say ba'achila. You eat something, you're going to eat another thing, so you can have it together. But owning, is not real. Aber mit der Rabbonon, you're over. With the Rabbonon, you're over bal yiroi bal yimotzi. Even for less. Why? Gzeira. There's a lot of issues again about with the Rabbonon. So therefore, you have to make sure that even a drop of chometz, you're over bal yiroi bal yimotzi with the Rabbonon. So you have to make sure not to own any chometz. So how do you do it? We clean. Now, when we clean for the chometz, really should be sufficient. However, but cleaning, a lot of people clean, but they're not making sure that there should not be a drop of chometz, a crack of chometz, a brekel chometz somewhere. So cleaning that we do every day during the year is nish genug. Now you're going to tell me I cleaned after I had the cleaning person and then the cleaning, and then I cleaned myself again and again. So really it should be enough. So there's a famous vote, this case the Chumas Harosh, it's called in the language. Chumas Harosh is called Israel the Kedoshim, right? We're Kedoshim and we make sure to really rub and ripe, and like the Bedicheva says, you're kratzen, like everything that we says in the Tkiya, Shvorim, Troy, Tkiya, everything, really make sure that everything should be out. Okay. So, but still, so why do I make a bdika? Why do I have to check later? I have to make bdikas chometz. I have to make bdikas chometz. The Chachomim made a takona that we should have bdikas chometz for two reasons. The Rebbe brings both reasons. Again, it's a machlekes rishonim, right? One reason is you might have. You can tell me what I need bdikas chometz. I be mevatel. Mina Torah, that's enough. Mina Torah would be enough. I don't own nothing. I'm being mevatel. So okay, I cleaned. I was mevatel. Why do I have to go and check? Could be you're not mevatel mit dem ganzen Hart. You're mevatel, but you're not really mevatel. Now there's another issue.
Who cares what's in your heart?
Officially,
you're mevatel.
No. Stock of
you know what? I want
to beer.
This he didn't know.
But you buy it back. So
What do you mean?
No, we're not selling about.
We're not selling. Dvarim should believe in dvarim. Isn't that a
What? I'll tell you more than that. That not only you need to be mevatel. The Rebbe brings down that this is what's that? Okay, that's the gleich. That's the gleich. Give a cook. The Rebbe brings down. You have to say it b'dibur.
Okay.
It's not getting. You're telling my machshava, but there is an opinion that holds. That's one of the Rishonim says that you're not going to be belev sholem. You're not really mevatel, and because achshash of bal yiroi, bal yimotzei, so the Chachomim made a gzer, and they said no. Go and check and make sure that you don't find. Make a bdika. The bitl is not good enough. The other reason is maybe you're going to find a good gishmak and use a glos mashke, or you're going to find a gishmak and piece of cake. That's the word in the you're going to find a good Danish, and what happens then? What happens then is, even if you're going to take it and throw it away, but until you throw it away, those few minutes, you're over because you want it. It's a niche bottle. You want it. We say, ich kann nicht. So I'm putting it away. That's not good enough. You're going to be over every minute that you did not put away, you're over bal yiroi bal yimotzei. So the Chachomim made a takona called b'dikas chometz. And this b'dikas chometz is nicht episode. You think, b'dikas chometz it's like, I don't want to say comparing like to the other takonas. Very harsh words we have about b'dikas chometz of the din, of the minhag, and more than that, of the time. And the time. What I mean the time? When do you have to make b'dikas chometz?
night before?
Or the
Oir la'arba oso. What's the word oir la'arba? The Gemara says oir la'arba. The evening, the Gemara says the evening, but be'emes it's not only the evening. It's a time when it's still light. That's why we have to do it in the beginning of the night. We have to do it in the beginning of the night. Be'emes it's like in the beginning. But anyway, when do you have to do b'dikas chometz? As long as you can find chometz, and it's going to be a problem of bali motzi. How long is that? The whole Pesach. Every minute that you're over a bali motzi, you have to make a bdika. The Chachomim told you to make a bdika. So if you didn't make a bdika this year, Thursday night, comes Monday, middle of Chol HaMoed, you didn't make a bdika, you make a bdika with a brocha. Because you have to make bdika until the end of Pesach. Only thing is that after Pesach, then you don't make with a brocha, because that's what I'm saying, there makes a difference between the two gzeres. The gzera Hashem Egliske Yofo is one thing, or Bali Motzi is not there anymore. So even though the main reason is if it's going to find something, I'm going to be signing this. I don't want to. Let's stick to Tukum. Bottom line is you have to check until the end of Pesach. Every minute the Chachomim made a gzera. However, the Chachomim made a gzera that you should make. They told you not a gzera. The Chachomim told you a takona. Takonas b'dika is to do b'dikas chometz right in the beginning of the night. The Rebbe uses a language, and it's a very interesting language. And why I call it, because in the Kunter he says avot, and it's interesting that we should know about it. And here, read this. Right in the beginning of b'dikas chometz over here. Okay. Oh, here. When in Tov Lamed Aleph, when he says about the Zman Abdika, Tzeis HaKechovim, you know, every other time you could put a shomer, and you can do it later. Nicht gefährlich. Now, I don't have to do it in the beginning of the night. I'm allowed to do it by night. Oil Arbos. I should do it by Oil Arbos. But the Rebbe is a halacha. You know, there's different. There's a machlokes, there's Taz, whatever. So he says that you have to do it since you're able to do it till after so long, you're going to push it off. So therefore, the Chachomim said you should do it. The Takolas B'dika, you should do Tchilas Halaylo. You should do it right at the beginning of the Laylo. So much so that even the Shaila, what should go first, Ma'ariv or B'dikas Chometz? Our minhag is to do after Ma'ariv, because that's what state in Hayom Yom, right? And there's a lot of the Rebbe about it. Although the Friedrich Rebbe alone did before Ma'ariv. Now it says, the Rebbe wrote to someone. He writes to someone. The Friedrich Rebbe does. He dies in one of the years. The Friedrich Rebbe, the Friedrich Rebbe did after Ma'ariv, before Ma'ariv. Sorry. However, he himself, the Friedrich Rebbe, the Rebbe himself says, he writes, you want to know, even though in Shulchan Aruch there's days lekan ulekan, but nevertheless, the how do you call it? The minhag, guy writing the minhag is to do. We should do it before Ma'ariv.
After Ma'ariv.
No, after Ma'ariv. Sorry, the minhag is to do after Ma'ariv. But even though we do it after Ma'ariv, but you know what it says over here. This is what I wanted to mention. That the Rebbe uses a vote. Thinking about b'dikas chometz. I mean, there's a lot of other halachas to speak in b'dikas chometz. I'm starting off with this. V'kiven shekova zman. Since the Chachomim made a time, in Cain, mi she'einei boidik b'tchilas zeh hazman, whoever does not check b'tchilas zeh hazman, eino nikro otzel, is not called a lazy, elo nikro avrayon. Avarion? Nicht avrayon.
Avarian.
Avarion. Why? She'ovar al gzeres chachomim. Avarion means a criminal.
Transgressing.
Yeah,
Transgressing.
transgressor.
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 Yeah.
Okay. So which leads me, which basically says to you that you have to do it right away. After Ma'ariv, you know, someone is telling you a bissel news, something, they have given a bisschen Ukraine, something. So you wait noch 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 8 minutes. Every minute that you pause, you're avarion. You have to do it right away. Now, to make it, it says in Shulchan Aruch, it says that you have to have a clean house to make b'dikas chometz. So you can't come home and say, okay, now let's. You can't make a b'dikas chometz with its own mess. So you're going to say, okay, I have to have a seder. This includes in the avarion. That's why you have to clean. That's one of the reasons in Tzichel and Nakis Heitev, you have to clean to be able to have b'dikas chometz. Okay, what?
I thought that you have to clean up the house before the clean.
You have to clean the house before you check.
Organized.
You have to clean the house before you check.
Isn't the whole thing of finding chametz? Isn't that the whole thing of
Oh.
chametz?
Oh, he's saying very good. There's a day that holds that if you make b'dikas chometz and you don't have chometz, it's a brochel levatol. There is a chash like that, right?
That's why we put out the 10 pieces.
That's why we make sure to have the 10 pieces, right? That's why we make it 10 pieces. We should have chometz. We make chometz. That's why you have 10 pieces. We should have a emes chometz.
Or the whole thing?
Okay,
No, together.
Nine. The 10 pieces, and every piece should be less than a kizayis. If it gets lost or something, you should not have a problem. So you have to make sure that each one should be less. You make very small pieces, that's for sure. So if there's a problem, you should never have a problem, as we said. Okay. What's if you go
somewhere else, someone else's house, you have to make b'dikas chametz?
I will speak about it after. We're going to speak about selling, and we're going to speak about other things. So we're going to speak about.
There's no shop.
Yeah, that's selling.
Before I want to go to selling, I want to say one more thing, a few more things. B'dikas chometz. B'dikas chometz, we have to check choirim b'stoking. That's what we have to check. If you clean somewhere a straight surface, when you clean well, you don't have to make b'dikas chometz. You cleaned very well, and you have a square foot of here. There's no b'dikas chometz here. What's the b'dikas chometz? You cleaned it well. That's already b'dikas chometz. The idea of the b'dikas chometz is choirim u'b'stokim. You should check in somewhere where it doesn't go. But then there's one more thing is, if you're really going to check our houses, Baruch Hashem, especially in the United States, but Baruch Hashem, it's not like one dining room. The dining room is also the bedroom, and it's also the kitchen, and it's there. So they take the b'dikas chometz, takes an hour or 5 hours, but that's it. We're really going to check the entire place everywhere. You're not going to finish it in a night. It's not shaykh. To make a b'dikas chometz. So how are you going to do it? So you have to rely on cleaning. So there's like this. The b'dikas chometz time is on the night before, which is this year, Thursday night. That's the time of b'dikas chometz. But you can make b'dikas chometz night before if you have a problem with that night, right? Only what? You do it without a brocha. Okay. Now, there's another musik that's called achsadra. Achsadra means a porch. Tell me, a porch, what I need to do it in a porch in the middle of the night. By day, I can see well. Okay, in the house, the Chazal told you can't see well with the light. The best light that you're going to see is with a candle. It's a candle, not an avuko, right? And you go with a candle because you're afraid it's going to make a fire. So you go with a candle. But that's in a room where it's dark. But in a porch, then there's such a thing called achsada that you can do it in the sun, right? However, we do it by night. We do it by night. But certain places you cannot do with a candle. For example, in a car, you can't do with a candle. Sakona, and you can do with a candle. Well, yeah, sometimes you can use a flashlight if needed. No, a lot of the contemporary poets can say that. So we could use a flashlight. Now, there's a Rogebach to Shulchan Aruch. Everything I say, the Massiv Shulchan Aruch means the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch, right? That if you clean very well, you can clean for Bdikas Chometz. You can clean before Pesach, should be already including Bdikas Chometz. Meaning, you clean the place very, very well, and you make a Bdika a few nights before, a week before. And you close up the place and you made a bdika. This place is being checked. You could use achsadr. You could use the day by day. Sometimes you have light from the top or the windows right by the window, middle of the day. Over here is mamish light. So the rooms today, a glass is not a blockage to the sun. So
Cleaning the car.
Yeah, you could also do it by day, by Emerson. Yeah. You could by day. It's going to be better than you're going to do it by night.
You need to clean the car the night before.
You could do it better. You could do it better by day than you do it by night, right? And after you clean very, very well, the car is the idea of chayrim stocking. So you really have to make a shtickle bdika mirror. So after you did a good bdika a few days before, you close up the place or you clean the car. You clean the car. And you make a bdika before, or you have a room, and you closed up. This place is boduk. That's it. But the night of bdikas chometz, you go very chafif. But it's not.
You could do it a couple days. He's asking if you could do it a couple days ahead of time.
Yeah. I say it's kedai to do a few days before and do the ika bdika.
And you go from a car, say you want to mamish, say you want whatever you want to do, your whole house.
You could really do that as much. Oh, but you don't want to moitzi the b'dichovis abdika, so you leave something for the night that you should be able to make a brocha. In the nights before, you can't make a brocha. Oh, but it's very kedai zach to machen das, and we rely on that. What do you think? People, when they make b'dikas chometz, they go on all the places. They know it's cleaned very well. We cooked. Why? Because lechatchila we cleaned it in such a way it should be lekovet Pesach. We're not cleaning as a stomach cleaning. Mamish cleaning very well. You don't have to go b'dikas chometz. It's also you don't go to places that you never reach there. You're not going to go right there on the top of on kodesh, on top of the closet over there, make b'dikas chometz. Because what did you say before? The beetle is going to help because it's only crumbs or something you're going to have upstairs there, and obviously it's bottle. And if you're going to find something over there, you're not going there. You can't go there. You can't reach there. You're not something you're going to go there. It's nicht die alle Sachen. This is stam. I'm saying again, we can go much more, but in our short hour, we're gonna just want to jump ahead and go over another dinim. So how we do? So, however, we did b'dikas chometz by night. We still, even though we make bittul, right? We still have to make the other bittul we make by day. I don't want to get into these details. Maybe we'll get in a few minutes. Shaila is like this. There's a minhag in Am Yisrael in our days, especially in Chabad, that we sell everything. We sell everything, right? Based. The Alter Rebbe writes very clear in Shulchan Aruch, very, very clear. This is not a joke. It's not a it's not a trick. This is a real sale. If it's a real sale, so why do I have to make b'dikas chometz? Right?
You're not going to be home.
Oh, now you're asking something else. Now you're not going to be home bichlal. That's another issue. I know this is like very much. This is what most of the people now. Most of the shilas is boom. I'm not going to be home. So I'm going to get to it in a second. Before I'm going to get this, let's analyze first of all this sale. In 1 minute. What's the sale? How come When did they come up with this idea of selling the chametz? What do you think?
It's very recent.
Very recent.
Rabbinic innovation.
Okay, yeah. The idea is already in, like he says, it's not a brand new idea. But what they did is, Thomas Hadeshem, about 600 years ago, what they did is, in the days before, they had a trick. The soichrim, what do you do? A guy has a alcohol business. What do? They used to sell each one as individual. They used to sell the chometz to a goy for something for less of the value. They used to sell them, and they knew that the goy is going to sell them back. It was a good sale, but they knew once the guy that there were good terms with them. So let's say a $1 million company, they gave them $1,000. They said, "Give me $1,000, it's your company." They knew they're going to sell them back. But here, the Soichim said, "Listen, I'm not trusting this guy. He's going to take my business, and he's going to go." So then the Tumas Hadesh came. Then they came up with different. What do? We sell him, but we sell him with a deposit. We sell him full price, but he gives a deposit. So he gives a deposit, but he has to pay the whole thing. Comes at the end and he doesn't pay the whole thing. No problem. You can't pay up. Okay, so I'm giving you back the deposit. Why would he give a deposit? Because he knows that the Yid is going to say to him, "You know what? I'm going to give you a few dollars more than the deposit." Okay, so he gives him the deposit because he knows he's going to get back. But if not, maybe he would have bought it. And for full value, so if the guy wants to take it, Gesundheit, you're going to pay me. He's going to pay me. So it was not a concern. After years later, it's given that people didn't know exactly how to do. So that was the takonas already from 200 years ago or more. They started to do then that you got the Rov of the Kehila, he knows the ins and outs, and he started to sell the chometz for the people. Now, what you gained is, first of all, he knew exactly how to sell. And there's a lot of details into selling. It's not only kesef, shtar, mishicha, keskaf, whatever, key. There's details into selling, and also, and the takona became also. Then you made the rov for a shliach to sell for you. You also gave him a few dollars, not only because you want to help him out. It makes it that he's takedain shliach. You pay for the job. So it's not a haroma, and it's a real. This is started to sell. So now, however, even though we sold, but you would think you sell only. What do you sell? The kalim, because the rosh, and because they say that you should clean the kalim so well, and it shouldn't be a drop of chometz in it, because maybe you're going to use it. So you sold the kalim. But actual chometz to sell, people were concerned. But Alter Rebbe says no. That Tzemach Tzedek brings down famously that it's a emes mechira. It's 100% sale. It's not yours. It's the goy's, and you can sell everything. No shayla. You could sell everything you can sell. So now getting back, if I sold everything, why do I have to make a bdika? Doesn't matter. If I find something, still that problem is there. The gzeira, if I'm going to find something and I'm going to like and I'm going to want it, so this is still there. And there's other reasons also. So the bottom line is, so there's a bdika, there's a mechiras chometz, but who is chayev? Who is chayev bdikas chometz? Everyone. In 30 days, you have to make a bdikas chometz. Even if you leave and you're not coming back, you have to make a bdikas chometz, right? You're going to out of town. You're going to be in no man's land. Mafresh bayam, a whole simon, right? And so You still have to make b'dikas chometz. That takonas chacham.
Make it where you're going.
What?
Make it where you're going. You're going to make it now.
No,
But if
your
you-
house, your
I'm
house-
going to nowhere that. I'm not going around. So who is chayiv b'dika? So there's two ways to look at it. You could say I own chometz, I have to make a b'dika. So even if I'm on a train, I'm somewhere in a car, in a drive, and I don't have a place, a home, I'm chayiv b'dika. But you're not chayiv b'dika. You're chayiv b'dika only if you own a place. If you rent a place, it's also your own. Your hotel, you also own. You own the room. So any place that you own, you're chayiv b'dika. So, but you own the house. So many people say, I'm going out of town. You can go out of town from today till tomorrow, but you own the house. You have to sell. You have to make b'dikas chometz. Why not?
Why not?
Because it came in before chometz Pesach, and you have to make a b'dika. Chazal's takon is to make a b'dikas chometz.
You sell the kalim, and you don't
Even if you sold the house.
You sell the
sell the
kelim.
house.
But then
And
don't you
no
have
one's
to
going
pay
in
money?
on
No, you don't have to tell.
You go,
I
you
let
sell
it
the
down.
house, and no one's going in there, Pesach.
So you have to check.
Oh, so now you're telling me, but I sold my entire house. Okay, so you know that there's a tzemach tzedek, and the tzemach tzedek brings down that if the house, even before Pesach, even erev Pesach or day before Pesach, it's going to be the goy's house. I don't have to make b'dikas chometz there because it's not my house. It's not. Nicht alle Hand mehr say. Yeah, because I told you, even if you leave and you're not planning to come back here, you still have to make b'dikas chometz. So what should be the difference? However, you are fully aware that Tzemach Tzedek sagt, as if there's a goy, if there's a goy owning the house, if you rent from the goy, there's no problem. So when you sell the chometz, is it the goy's chometz? Is it goy's house?
Yeah, I sold the house.
You sold him the house, you sold him the chometz. However, when we sell the chometz, we also sell
Where it is.
we also give him the house. We give him for a few reasons. One of the reasons it should be agav karka. There's a few reasons why we give him the house. We have to give him the house. First, besides that, we have to give him access. We also really, when we sell the chometz, we sell him, or we give him, rent him, or sell him also the space of where the chometz is, because chometz that doesn't have a place is lav dafke. Okay, there's a lot of reasons for that. Anyway, without getting in, mamish, we machen b'kitzel. What?
Check one room and then you go.
Okay, so I'm gonna get to it. So the bottom line is beseder. If you sold the goy, you don't have to make b'dikas chometz. Emes. Okay, clear. You don't have to make b'dikas chometz. Chazal made a takona to make b'dikas chometz. Why do we want to mafkia b'dikas chometz? Famous Chassam Sofer. You want to mafkia from yourself b'dikas chometz?
You're going to make it. If you go to a hotel,
Okay.
you make it that way.
Anyway,
You go to a hotel, you make
So
it.
I want to bring the few options that many people have now when they travel, and it's like this. If you're gonna be in a place where you're going to a hotel or you rent a house, or you rent a house in Florida, some people do that. You make
Why do I get?
Okay, 1 minute, I'm gonna get to it. If you rent a house in Hupitz, wherever it is, not here, you're gonna make b'dikas chometz over there, no problem. Why are you gonna make b'dikas chometz over there? Because you have a house and you have chometz. If you don't have chometz, you're gonna have this asar ptitim. It's no problem. So you don't make here, you make over there. But what happens if you're a guest by someone? And we made that before. Only if you own a place. If you're a guest by someone, only the oreach needs it, but not someone else doesn't need it. Some ikradini don't need. The don't need. Why? Because you're yoitze with the balabais. You're yoitze with the balabais. It's no problem. However, there is a marsham's idea, and that's how we basically say, is a gleiche Sach to rent. And it's not so posh. What do you mean I'm renting? I'm not really renting. You're a guest. However, you rent a room. You don't have to rent. You don't have to pay. You make a kinyan. You make a kinyan. It doesn't have to be. The kinyan is the kinyan. It's nicht chiluk. You make a kinyan, and it's you and you get and you coin at this place. However, I think, I'm saying bichlal, you should hear. Best thing is you should hear the brocha from the balabos, and you're yoitzer from him, and you go take your rooms, and then you're part of, and then you go to your room, to your house, to your place. If not, you make a bdika. You make a bdika with a brocha. With a brocha from the balabais. You hear from him, you're yoitzer from him, and then you continue and you make this.
But you cannot mafsik.
You can be mafsik. But if you're mafsik between the brocha and the bdika, you have to make a brocha again, right? Everything like this. You can't be mafsik in between. After you started, you can.
First, that's after I make the kinyan. After I make a kinyan from
Yeah.
If I don't make the kinyan to the thing, there's no reason to make a bracha.
There's no reason to make it. You're yoitzer with this bdika. Now you have chometz. You have to have chometz over there. It's kedai to have chometz over there. Certainly, if you put either the sort of titim. Now, by Emerson, you could make, if you had a kinyan and you have chometz, you could make also a brocha echet. It's not l'rafche the milsa. What?
Yes or no?
You can. I think it's better to get to be yoitzer.
You buy the key of 10 pieces.
Yeah, and also you have chometz that you're gonna eat in the morning, and it's gonna be your chometz. That's the best thing. But what happens if someone travels in the middle of the he travels and he doesn't have no chance to make a bracha? So by night, when he's in the middle of traveling by night, and he gets there by day. By Emerson, if you didn't make a bdika by night, you have to make a bdika by day. Oh, but he's yoitz over here from the balabos. So it's kedai. Das is kedai that he calls up the balabos. He makes him a shliach, even though you don't need to. Aber macht him a shliach this. Also, would give him kedai that a few days before you make a bdika in a certain room in your house. You clean up a small place and you make a bdika on a brocha in stubechet. I've hoben the meaning from Dicke. Anyway, ich kann reingehen in den Bariches. Just, I think we'll take every case in this. Just want to get an overall. Ich will fahren weiter. What did I say? Selling the okay. Listen, I had the ganze Sache. Okay. Chumres from Pesach.
After
Peeling the sky's the limit.
You have to peel a vegetable.
Oh, you have to peel the
Pickle. If you
vegetable.
have a pickle, you have to peel.
You have to
Pickle? Who is pickle?
pickle.
What's wrong with pickle?
It's cucumbers.
Cucumbers. Tomatoes.
Which cucumbers are this?
What's wrong with
Do you peel the pickle?
Okay.
Doesn't have the same crunch.
You peel the pepper. You peel the.
Okay. So before we go right, I want to just say like this: in chumras, is obviously you can be mizalz in chumras, and it's like Kodesh unbelievable. But on the other hand, you have to know what's in the iker, what's a tofu. You understand? You have to know what is really like there's a minig, there's a halacha in Shulchan Aruch about musaf and tkiyas, right? You have for sure a minyan for musaf Rosh Hashanah in one place, and you have maybe a tkiyas in another place. What should you do? And a musaf Rosh Hashanah is the Rabbanon with a minyan, and tkiyas is min haTorah. But I know for sure I'm having a minyan over here, and I have to go down with a minyan. There's a maybe. Oh, but the maybe is tkiyas is min haTorah, and the minyan is the Rabbanon. So obviously, what ways is that? So there's a vote. I mean, first of all, let's start with kidneys. Kidneys, there are minhagim and there are chumras, and there are meikar adin. Kidneys is bashkenazim and meikar adin. There's mamish meikar adin. You even have to kasher the kelim, etc., etc. On the other hand, I have a chol shein b'sakona that tells me that they need medicine, vitamin, whichever. Okay, they can take. It's not chometz. As a medicine, which if I have time, we'll talk about medicine, we'll talk about vitamins, we'll talk about Bichlal, die alle Sachen. Stimme in the Zeit, ich weiß nicht, if it's going to go in. Okay, anyway, this is kidneys. Then there is the minig of Shuir. Minig of Shuir, then you have machine matzahs, and then you have Shuir. Shuir is in Lubavitch, means Horim Beyoiser. Horim Beyoiser means that we are very, very careful. What's from where you have to look what's the source of it, of Yeder Zach. In other words, like this. You have certain things that are chumras, and certain things minhogim, and certain things are dinim. Kidneys is a din, poshut. Now, what's the difference? The difference is going to be like this. And there are certain things that you don't know. If you would have known, I would have never taken it. I'm eating schmaltz because I thought that the shemen is not kosher le Pesach. But if I would have known, I'd not take it. What's the difference? The difference is going to be like this. If you take a chumrah on yourself, you can't anymore. Yeah. A lot of people, coffee, they need to have coffee now. Whatever it is. But it's a chumrah. You took on yourself.
Where coffee is kidneys?
No. I'm saying a chumrah. I shouldn't pick which chumrah. It doesn't make a difference. A chumrah. A chumrah. Oh, but kidneys, by the way, kidneys, what does kidneys mean? Kidneys means like rice, things like that grow, but it doesn't grow with meat. It doesn't come extra. Tomato, cucumber, those are kidneys. But it's not only the kidneys, it becomes bigger. The rice stays. You take a rice, you plant that's what grows, and that's what goes. That rice, you don't, es wird nicht größer, es wird nicht ungefüllt, it doesn't get more. It doesn't, cook something else. What?
Chickpeas.
Chickpeas is kidney.
Because it's exactly.
It's the epitome of kidneys. It's Ches Mem Tzadik. Chometz. It's the epitome of kidneys.
This is exactly Masha'enkin. So I'm saying then there's a din. So something has a chumrah and they can't take any more the chumrah. And or because if Bechlal there's a minute, and so given I'm all the excitement, but now it doesn't exist anymore. The problem is not there, and I don't want to get into garlic emotion because lav dafke that's the case in garlic. You could say before they used to do it the way they soaked garlic and now not, but I don't want to get into that because I think that garlic is in a different category, and I'll get to it in a minute. But first of all, let's go like this. Shruya is clearly in Chabad very, very strict. Why is it very strict? Even though you're going to tell me it's not shaykh. What's
the nursing home?
I'll tell you how nursing home is something else.
The whole heter is for elderly people. That's the whole heter.
Nursing home is something else. So let me. First of all, what's the problem with Shuir?
What is Shuir?
What is Shuir? Yeah, what is Shuir? Shuir is the problem is. I mean, in the olden days, and I'm saying the olden is very old. The matzah was thick like that. They call it a tefach. Are they often a tefach? When matzah was a tefach, it didn't become chometz, but it was
like a donut.
But it was thick like that. Then they started to make rikikin, as they call it. Whatever. It still was the size of a finger, pita. It's given like that. Then they started to make mamish like today, so thin. Is almost not shaykh to have the issue. What's the issue of Shuir? Maybe there's a little bit kemach on the matzah that wasn't baked. Right now, let's be clear. Anything that's baked or cooked cannot become chometz. Kenisht. You take a matzah and you make it kemach back again, it doesn't become chometz. Kenish ben chometz. It doesn't have the din of chometz. Again, if it's baked once, that's it. It doesn't become chometz. However, if there's water on it, if there's kemach that did not get baked, then we have a problem. We have a problem with chometz. So we are very, very makbid. But what chometz can only become of water, cannot become on meiperos, milk, honey, eggs. Cannot become. Only from water. So we're very, very careful. We are very careful with that. Wine cannot become chametz, only with water. So we are very makpid on shuir. However, we're so makpid. I'm sorry, we're so makpid that we make sure not to have even a drop of water over here. We don't take mayim achonim. We cover or we don't put it near water and as a weiter. Now, there are, I don't want to say some, many, yeah, Chabad bichlal, they don't do even in May Paris, lemoshel, wine, milk, even though this the Rebbe Rashab, the Rebbe Nishmos did put in wine and milk, whatever, but he had the reasons, whatever. Why don't we put? Because we're very careful. You don't know what's going to be. You're going to make wine and milk, and you're going to make something, and it might be a drop of water. One drop of water, and he can say, even though it can become chometz right away, but everything is achshash. So we're very careful. However, we don't give kids shuya also. The Rebbe says a letter, yeah, I mentioned that I think last time, that there's a letter from the Rebbe about machine matzahs. In the beginning of the years, the Rebbe said, machine matzahs, no way. Shruyo, mela, for kids. Aber machine matzahs. But in the later years, there's clear from the Rebbe letters saying that also no, we should be makpid, chinuch, and not give shruyo. But there are some in Lubavitch that May Paris not, but they will schmear avocado. Avocado is not in wine, in milk. It can sein epis ades. But if not, what should be a problem with avocado? There is no problem. Certainly, to give to kids there are many to do that, and it doesn't make from them. Whichever. Everyone has their chumras. Everyone there. On the other hand, in the chumras of Pesach, is nicht to say, oh, that's too much. Even though the Alter Rebbe uses the word, those who make the chumras, yesh lema malismoich. That means you don't make stam. You don't make stam. But something that's ongenommen is in altitosh teures imecho is being used in this very, very strong. Whatever comes in your home, whatever comes in your community, that you don't have to take in your community. You have to take no chumras that you can go by there, or you don't need to. But certainly, like Shuir is not is a chaposh of the dach. What? So I said, if you have a chumra that you don't want to do it because you cannot, there is an option called hataras nedorim. What you do is you're being matir neder, and you have to tell the person why, and he's taking two wisdom and make a hataras nedorim. Certain things you can, but again, if it's a chumrah that you took upon yourself, but if it's something you didn't know, you thought that this is a problem, it didn't have a good hechsher, but it did have a good hechsher, then you don't need a hataras nedorim. On the other hand, most of the cases you do need a hataras nedorim, and a lot of things you cannot be matir. Kidneys, unless I had someone in my discipleship. I just had a student.
Coffee is kidneys?
No. Okay. That's a nut.
Coffee bean.
No.
It grows on a tree.
No.
It's really it's a
Coffee
fruit.
bean.
Bean.
Coffee
It's called
bean.
bean. It's called bean. But it grows on a tree.
It got on a tree.
It grows on a tree.
Nein, ich kann nicht mal
Beans.
Coffee is nicht, sicher nicht, whatever. Anyway, amolige Zeiten, they made sugar. They didn't take sugar. Now, why? Because the way they made it. Nowadays, is different. However, there are some that cook the sugar before. There are some that don't use sugar, but the Rebbe Nishtub, the Rebbe didn't use sugar, obviously, even though he says, I'm Beisarav, as it's only, Beisarav, but my father, as we grew up, there was no sugar. I mentioned my father because by me, my father, Pesach is the time that it's very, very boiled. He always used to say, this minute by the Rebbe given, this given. He was years by the Rebbe, and yet der Sache given, like, we followed, and I've been every Seder by him. I mean, since a kid, every Seder, this. So we already, eingechazert, I know already, that geht sein Azeh. Okay, stop. So I'm mentioning about, so what I'm trying to say is, on the other hand, there's chumras, but we have to know what's a ikar, what's a tofu, especially when it comes to kids. So The story that was by the Rebbe, by the Frierdiker Rebbe, that and it doesn't mean that we should not have hummus. Hummus we have to have, must have. This Pesach is achshash hummus. He said about mashu, I didn't mention. It's all bal yoroi bal yemotzi. But eating, we're talking about what happens in Chas v'Shalom. It's not a lav. It's only out of Pesach. It's not a lav. Talking about chorus to eat. So, and according to Chazal, made the nicht bottle. So if it doesn't become bottle, even a mashu, we have to be ultra careful. On the other hand, we have to know what's wichtig, the Frierdiker Rebbe mentions that, whatchamacallit, there was someone by the tish, and someone by the tish, and someone, and there was a commotion, a tumult. So the Frierdiker, what's the tumult? So one of the orchim wasn't aware of the gebrocht, and he made himself very comfortable. he put his matzah in the wine and whatever. And and they made him very like they know how to make him. So the Frierdiker Rebbe said like this: it's better to make the matzah red than to make his face red.
That's a chassid.
That's the Frierdiker Rebbe.
Yeah, sure.
Frierdiker Rebbe said. This. Okay. I just want to finish. We should finish with a few things. Medicine is not negay here now. We don't have time anyway to speak about it. What medicine you can take, what medicine you can't take, you cannot take.
They coat it with cornstarch. That's
the problem. That's the problem. The medicine itself is not a problem. Bichlal, it's not chometz. Nishaych chometz in really medicine, right? The problem is the coatings. If it is tamar, so it all depends. If someone needs it for blood pressure, things like that. Whichever, everyone is a different partial. Certainly, the pikuach nefesh is not a joke, and if it needed to be done, But there's a way how to take it. You make it bitter. You can put it in a napkin. You can take it like that. Whichever. There is a common Sachen. This is talking about medicine. Also depends if it's kidneys inside. It's not a problem, right? For kids, again, this is going to be the same thing. If it's going to be a cholim or ktanim, if they need to take something, a vitamin, if it's kidneys, a Phillips kidneys, you can move on something else. This, and then
the certain
what?
vitamin for people in the now with corona without that certain vitamins they must have.
They must.
There's the C, D3.
Okay, but today there's a lot. Today there's a lot with the hechshel, so it's no problem.
No, that's how I look for them. There's no.
Okay, so
hechsher.
if there's no hechshel, I told you, well, let's take every case, but in general, is the same thing. But this is chometz. What's the problem with medicine? Just in one word, what's the problem with chometz? You're going to tell me it's apostle achilas kelev. What's the problem? Everyone knows. Whatever. What's about? But if you eat it, achshevei. So if you are achshevei, we can question in them or whatever. So if you make it choshev der zach, you're making it so sein nicht. This is number one. Number two, you can take it out, and then it's going to be der mashu that's there. That's not bottled. That could be is royal achilas kelev. And my father used to tell me when he was in France. In the Holocaust, when I told him about Ein Roy Achilas Kelev, he always used to tell me. He told you that. He told you over here. He didn't tell you when he grew up, when he was in hidden over there by when the Nazis they were there, and he was by the Goyish family. He says, "You have no idea what the dogs ate. If you know what they ate." I don't want to mention what he said. They were hungry, so went to starvation, and they ate everything. Right. So when they so stop whichever is only their part. Bekitzer, anyway, I just want to finish off with shiurim, matzah, morer, and ich weiß nicht was noch.
Kazais, Matze, Kazais,
Okay, because you can't say half a matzah. You can't take half a matzah. So then the shiurim is like this. There's a minimum, and there is a minimum, and there's eating the kizayis matzah, and also this man of kidei achilas pras. You can't eat a matzah. You're going to eat the kizayis, and it's going to take me an hour. That's not edible. That's good for Yom Kippur. Somebody want to be matter them to the street. You give them all the time. So kidei achilas pras. By Yom Kippur we are machmir. We give them maximum time that they should be longer than kidei achilas pras. But by Pesach, by matzah means it's min haTorah. And I think min haTorah means it's even a woman chayv matzah min haTorah. A kizayis matzah, at least one kizayis matzah. Bichlal, I spoke about it I think last week, that a kizayis matzah, even if someone cannot have matzah, kanish, they can only eat the kizayis matzah. That's all what they can eat. They can't eat something else. So they should eat it by the afikoymen. This is an interesting observation. They should eat the matzah by the afikoymen. In other words, they'll have the seder, they'll have the meal without washing their hands, without rochtzah, without moitzi matzah. If they eat the kizayis, because they have to have the taste of the afikoymen at the end. If you're going to eat
that overrides the seder of the Haggadah.
Yes.
Hamoitzi and koirach.
Nicht mein Wort.
But the whole thing of Hafikoymen is that it's zeichel upon the Pesach. It's not even upon the Pesach, it's a piece of matzah. This is correct. That would override moitzi matzah.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
Probably this is a combination. Because it's a combination.
Of what?
You combine the first achilas matzah,
Yeah.
first kazais, with the last one.
Fine, but you have to wash for it.
So
can't
you
eat
wash.
So if you want, okay.
You wash.
When do you wash?
But you wash by the end of the
By
day.
Hafikoymen.
Oh,
By the African.
you don't wash by all it was matzah.
You can't.
Because they
he's
can't
not going to eat
eat
it.
it. He has a case.
He's not going to eat it
We're
then.
talking about a special case.
A very special case.
Nachat. Some people, I don't know.
So Mem is saying it's not overriding. If you're washing by Afikoymen, because you can't eat the Afikoymen without washing, right?
Right.
So if you're going to wash this, it's finished. What's the shayla?
What?
Yeah,
You didn't follow the Seder.
but it
You
means
didn't follow the
same.
Seder.
It should be by the end.
Granted, but you washed for it. That's the ikka.
Yeah,
That's
you
it.
wash, definitely. You wash.
That's it.
by the end.
You after the seder, you wash.
But if you wash, then that answers the question. There's no more kasha.
Okay, stimmt look, it says over here.
But you wash.
The letzte
You wash
Sieve.
for piece of matzah.
Okay,
That's it.
weiter. Anyway, a kizai, we need a kizai matzah. She said half a matzah. It's not exactly half a matzah. A kizai could be varies. If I'm going to give to an old person that cannot eat nothing, we can go down even to 11, 12 gram, 13 gram. This is like make a chesh. How much is in a pound?
16 ounces.
Oh, no. How many matzahs come in a...
5.
Huh?
What?
I don't know.
6. From 5 to
I
11.
don't know if it's a full
8
pound.
8 matzahs.
Divide by half for 11.
8 matzahs.
If you have, it says
Read
7.
the map so you have 7.
5?
You have to wait.
I have 5.
Because you guys don't roll it out.
You
You guys don't, they don't roll it out. They don't have to roll it out.
I only have to eat a little piece.
It used to be a pound. Now they-
8 matzahs, 7, 8 matzahs. 7, 8 matzahs is in a pound, right?
So he says 7 matzahs.
I don't want your matzah.
So okay, if it's 6 matzahs,
I only have to eat a small piece.
then it's gonna be less of the matzah to take. Push it. Anyway, better to take a kizayis matzah 27 gram if you can, if possible. Now you're gonna tell me like this: how can I have my afikoymen, not my afikoymen? How can I have my middle matzah enough to have an afikoymen, to have a kizayis matzah, and to give to my entire family, to give them also afikoymen, to give them matzah? How is it possible? Poshet, because in the old days they had a matzah. You were able to give 5 kizaysim to people, and you still have left over. Otherwise, it's nicht möglich. How can you make in one mass? You can make nicht
You don't
möglich.
see by the book it.
Huh? Well, how was it? How's it?
It's like gigantic matzahs.
Yeah,
So how much is
Everyone knew
27
that.
grams?
It's not- it came out of the oven, yeah.
it would be about a third of a matzah, between a quarter and a third of a matzah. About.
So you have to have 2/3 of the matzah at the beginning.
You have to have 2/3 of a matzah for to have 2 kizaysim. Yeah. Yeah.
2/3.
You have to have 2 kizaysim. You have to, about a little more. A little bit more than a half.
Normal.
Huh?
2 kizaysim is like the size of a matzah.
No.
Less.
No. How many matzahs do you have in a pound? How many matzahs do you have in a kilo?
6, 7 matzahs.
No.
So you have
kilo.
50
No.
50 matzahs
Yeah,
in a
15.
50 matzahs in a kilo,
Right.
right? A quarter of that is how much?
Four.
Not a quarter. Another quarter. 100 is 1.5 matzah is
1.5 matzah.
100 gram, right?
I don't know.
I never weighed them individually. To tell you the truth.
No, what do you mean? How much? How many? No. No.
I know
15
the
matzahs
lift
to
is-
How much is a
kilo.
matzah? How much is a
Yeah,
matzah?
see,
weigh?
What,
Go by the
an
chart.
ounce?
You can't know by weight.
I have a bag with a scale.
If it's 8 matzahs, 2 pounds.
It goes by nefach or it goes by weight?
Are you allowed to weigh your
Zero,
matzah
zero,
on
yeah.
Pesach?
She's a
You know, they have
shtel.
this scale. The scale that you hold with a bag.
No.
They have-
Now the for the
they
Seder,
have
they-
some
they-
gum,
they-
You allowed to do it on Pesach?
No.
Okay,
So
so
you
that-
do it before Pesach.
So I want to just add a few things. You're not allowed to weigh, but limdoit, this the end of Hilchos Shabbos says the Masechta Shabbos finishes up with a Mishnah. It says, as we're allowed to moided the moinin for mitzvah, for
Oh,
mitzvah.
so you're right.
Limded from
That's not Mishkol, that's limit.
not mishkol. I'm saying for
You
limded.
can't weigh. You can't
Not
weigh
weighing,
it.
not weighing,
can
but
measure it.
measure it.
No,
Measure.
they have a scale.
No, you can't
How much you
scale.
put in.
It's not a scale. It's like it
Yeah.
shows. It's just like it's with a
Scale.
scale.
That's a scale.
Anyway, the moral
Hey,
is
listen.
our kizayis. The moral is our kizayis, not chreim, one kizayis and salad and other kizayis, but it's more the chreim and the salad together.
Right.
Together.
So what's the zman of Phil's part?
Huh?
What's the time?
Don't look at the clock.
2-3 minutes. Huh? But it has to be done.
You can't eat.
I said, can you eat 2 kizayis in 2-3 minutes?
No.
Not that I'm asking. People say
Now
it's
without water, you
it's
can't.
No.
nicht möglich.
impossible.
It's almost impossible.
It's almost impossible.
Almost impossible.
Listen,
So they
you
can say
can't
you
go
can have-
without water.
Beta. You understand?
It's
It's
saliva.
almost
You have to
impossible.
you have to swallow that stuff.
Twice.
You have to have the
Uh,
whole
yeah.
in 2 minutes.
Oh, for
Yeah.
Pesach.
But impossible. You just don't look at the clock and eat as fast as you can. I mean, otherwise it's impossible.
I want to say, I have a lot of more stuff to say. But
Next to it.
Why is it?
next to what is it?
I
Huh?
can't.
What?
I can't.
Quarter of a matzah?
Oh, one more thing. We spoke about it last week.
Let's,
We spoke about it last week, and I want to mention that. Siyum. Siyum, yeah. It's not negated here, but I have a few people that are going to be listening, maybe, right? So I want to just mention that the Siyum. I questioned it last week. So I want to repeat what we spoke last week. A Siyum, a kid, if the kid cannot fast, so the father fasts for the kid. Very good. What does the father fast? The father goes and hears the Siyum. But what happens if the father is a Bechoyer? So the mother hears the Siyum.
Yeah, you told them.
Right? So I did mention which I last week I mentioned about. It came up in the COVID. It was very, clearly. So I said to everyone, I'm making a siyum, hear it by a phone. You have to hear the siyum. Yes, you have to eat part of the siyum. Better to essen from the siyum, eat a kibetzo. Eat something. But eating is not enough. You have to hear the siyum. You have to be by the siyum. Now you're going to tell me, this Chandra. Anyway, you have to hear by the siyum. You make, a woman that she hears it for the son is also hearing this on the phone.
So they use option.
Yeah, so they understand the phone. She's sameach.
What's the
And the husband, if he hears the siyum, he should take food and he should bring home, and she should have also etwas zu verbeißen.
What's your middle of nowhere? Can you hear it on the phone?
Yeah, he said at the phone. You just said.
No, he's saying the woman should.
But the man also,
Oh,
especially if he hears it for the son. Miss Makel in them, what is this? You know.
So you give out your number and the
Oh,
number
what?
that's
I have my number. I'm gonna be on Zoom. Yeah.
on Zoom.
Yeah, great. So on
well,
YouTube.
you're
Okay, Rebbe.
Castro had a
Mention,
minute.
what do you
Let
press?
masses in.
Bifa.
You know who used to go there originally was that fellow from.
That's my ankle. I'm going through.
You still will not. You'll end no.
No, no, no.
Yeah,